Hello everyone, this is AskJoshy. I'm here interviewing Julian Collins, aka Juicy J, with Cloud9. That's your handle, man. You picked it. So
they picked it.
Tell us about yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
My name is Julian Collins. I'm the manager for Cloud9 Maelstrom, and kind of trying to watch over the entire Heroes of the Storm scene as far as what Cloud9 does. My background is in esports, so I do a lot. I used to work in the League of Legends scene. I used to manage the old XTG and Vulcan roster back in the LCS. After that, I kind of transitioned over to Heroes of the Storm because I knew it was going to be like one of the big kind of MOBA or hero brawler genres, and I played it at BlizzCon that year, so I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. I want to kind of get involved, and I kind of found it was like very team-oriented, and I was never about the individual play. Like I was always about like how can we make team synergy kind of happen, and that's what I try to do with this team. You know, when you build a team like the one we have right now, you try and find the players that kind of mesh together really well. So we had 3 of the players from the old Team Liquid roster that played at BlizzCon last year. Brought them in. We had 2 of our other players, K1 and iDream. iDream played on our team back at BlizzCon, and then we kind of picked K1 up. Used to play in the League of Legends scene as a top tier challenger support. So we kind of brought the team in. Kind of had a rocky start at the beginning, but we ended up picking it up and winning the whole ESL Season 1 championship, which is really cool. And now, you know, we placed second in the WCA qualifiers. Unfortunately, lost to Tempo Storm, who's a fantastic competitor. Our first real dive into what LANs are, and it's the real first LAN that was seen in Heroes of the Storm. So when you kind of are building the team and everything like that, a lot of them don't really have a lot of LAN experience, and that's something that will get built up over time. And it's something that like a lot of people really don't look into. It's like Tempo Storm actually is nice because they all have like a gaming house down, so they're all kind of sitting together in the living room. They all understand who they are, who the individual person is. They understand what their little niche qualities are, their personalities, and we were kind of getting to know that, but in physical form. So we were all, rooming together, kind of trying to hang out together, trying to get as much time together as it was possible to build that synergy in real life as opposed to online. And so it kind of goes into the whole LAN type thing. So we're out here in LA at YouTube, which is pretty cool, and just played in the Mayhem Begins, the NA Press event.
Yeah, how'd you guys do in that?
We won,
Nice.
So we got our first LAN win, which is pretty cool. We played against Cal Berkeley, who has Fan, who's on our sister team, Cloud9 Vortex.
Yeah.
So he's a fantastic player. You know, we had to ban out his Illidan because it was just too strong. Pretty sure if he had Illidan in that game, we would have lost. But they're a really cool team. You know, we hung out with them a little bit. You know, they're really cool that they won Storm the Dorm. You know, when they won the Heroes of the Dorm thing, and they got their entire college paid for, so they don't even have to worry about being in esports if they don't want to. But they also have the option. Reserved in there.
Okay, so Cloud9 Maelstrom finally got that LAN win. Now you can move forward and win the rest, right?
Yeah, we did it.
Do you mind describing the North American pro scene for Heroes of the Storm, what it looks like at the moment?
Yeah, it's very small. Actually, the whole Heroes of the Storm scene, esports scene in general, is really small from like across the globe. You know, there's the top 3 teams that are said to be right now are us, Cloud9 Maelstrom, El Nexo, or they're under the Team Liquid brand now, EU, and also Tempo Storm, who's also another NA team. And we kind of have that rivalry with Tempo Storm ever since Alpha. We've always kind of like clashed heads, and we finally like took over and became like what was everybody thought we're the best team. By a lot of different websites. They would rank us as like the top team, very close to where Team Liquid is in EU, and so that's kind of like the world right now. But as far as NA is concerned, there's probably close to like 4 or 5 teams that really have the power and drive to kind of make what esports is happen for themselves. There's us, Cloud9 Maelstrom, Tempo Storm is the other one who like we're considered like top 2 in NA. There's also Team Zevron. Team Zevron actually has like a lot of quality players on the team. They're very up and coming. They're kind of building themselves out. They kind of look like where we were when we first started. There's also our sister team, Cloud9 Vortex. Cloud9 Vortex has a lot of like up and coming players. They have Fan, Bobby Hankill. He's really good. They have and the other 3, Syracuse, Zix, and Kaza. All fantastic players. Pretty sure if they could go to any other team or and make that team even better. And then there's also 2ARC. 2ARC is another very good team. We do a lot of scrims with them. But that's pretty much the top 5 that I would say that are North America at the moment.
Okay.
We would really like to see like a lot more competition because a lot of the time in major, what it kind of dilutes the competition when the top two are constantly just playing each other. So we would like to see more people kind of coming in. Hopefully, people start coming in, developing their teams, and being able to like jump back into it. We'll start to see like maybe more even esports team brands. Hopefully TSM comes in, or any of the other. I'm trying to think of like CLG, any of the major like brands that you could, Navi, all that sort of things.
All right, you hear that, guys? Go ahead and make some competitive teams with your friends. There's the Road to BlizzCon starting June 13th. If you miss out on that one, there'll be more in July and August to try and compete. So, they say a rising tide lifts all ships. So let's get some more teams in here.
Exactly.
What would you say are some top tips for what it takes to put a team together and insight in the daily life of a manager of a team?
To put your team together, you have to have a decent synergy. Like, you can't have 3 leaders on one team, because leaders want to lead, they never want to follow. So the one thing is you kind of want to find those soldiers that will really follow whoever wants to lead, and you have to find that kind of leader. And we kind of have that on our team, where we have like one guy who kind of like makes the drafting call, but he also listens to everything else, because a good leader isn't just a tyrant. It's always like taking input from everybody else. And we have our soldiers. Everybody communicates. Like, communication is probably the biggest thing I can say. If you can find 5 people who communicate in game and who can understand it and who can they have the drive, you'll have a decent team. Making sure that they're taken care of, like, as a manager, is probably the biggest thing you have to be able to do. Like, make sure that they're focusing on nothing but the game. If they're sitting outside and they're focusing on, like, how am I going to get from the airport? How am I going to, get to the hotel? Do I need to check in? Where's my lunch? All this sort of thing. It's just kind of like, it can be stressful in a way. Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to provide for them as much as possible. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of really team mom, and making sure that they'll listen to you if they respect you. And so, like, that with my team, that's what I try and do as much as possible, is kind of like make sure they focus on the game. I try and stay out of as much drafting as possible, just because I'm not a coach. I'm not an analyst. I don't want to be. I'd rather just take care of them and make sure that we're the best team. I can lead them in separate ways, be behind everything, kind of make sure the team doesn't crumble.
Great. So, what would you say are some of the lessons that you've learned from competitive Heroes of the Storm? I know you said you had some league background before, but are you learning anything in the space?
What's cool is, because since I have so much, I have the experience from League of Legends and kind of like what would be considered North American top tier League of Legends play, and managing kind of a team over there. I'm able to look at those managers, and I know them all personally, and see what they're doing for their teams, and then I kind of bring it over and I kind of revamp my style and be able to take some of their qualities and put them into mine, and take the qualities that I like. If there's stuff that I don't like or that I'm not doing, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, let me go ahead and I'm going to try and take that and kind of make it my own. I'll try and do that when it comes to my managing. And so when I first came in to Heroes of the Storm and was managing a team, I started managing Cloud9 immediately after BlizzCon. It was difficult, because it was very small. It was a very small scene. The way I kind of describe it is, if you were ever in esports before, it's kind of like, hey, let's scrim right now, and they're like, oh, okay, and it's just kind of like you're all playing, and then you just kind of pick up a scrim at the end of the day. There's no real structure.
Gotcha.
And so that's what I tried to do when I first came in, was just kind of like, let's build a structure out for what we can possibly do. These are the days we're going to be scrimming. We want to have a basic schedule in place. We want to be able to fulfill our sponsorship needs. We want to be able to do it and stream as well. So it takes a lot of people just kind of like, oh, I'm managing the team, I set up scrims. That's kind of all they do. But I try and get them to scrim as much as possible, get them to stream as much as possible, get anything from the organization that they need, whether it be from our sponsors or from clothing or whatever, peripherals, whatever it may be, from Logitech. This week when we were out here, we were out for our WCA match. We came back. We came in on the 30th, and we stayed until the 7th. So we were out in Cali for a long time, and during that entire midweek, we were at Red Bull Studios. So Red Bull Studios out in Santa Monica, they were fantastic. They set us up. All the Red Bull you can drink. We could play Smash if we wanted to. We were scrimming a lot. We were playing Hero League. They hooked us up, and we were super appreciative of that. We want to thank Red Bull a lot for that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's what when I came into the scene, I was just trying to build structure out. And once I built the structure for my team, everything else kind of follows behind it. It's just like, hey, we're scrimming these days. These are the times we scrim. And they're like, oh, okay, let me go ahead because we want to build around you. And I think it's really hard to do that when you don't have like an established team or a good, like I don't want to say a good team, but like if you don't want scrims, like you can't be like a very low team and be able to like set the structure. Because we were able to do that because we were brand new and everybody was like, we want to scrim these guys, we have to scrim at their time. So you kind of have to use that to your advantage and understand the scene, how it works. And once you built that structure out for my team, I was able to kind of push forward and their scout just kind of aligned with it. So.
All right. Well, it's all very informative stuff. I think we can move on to sponsor shout-outs, and you can tell us a little bit more about what Cloud9 Maelstrom is going to be getting into in the near future.
Yeah, shout-outs to all of our sponsors, mainly G2A, our title sponsor, they're fantastic, HTC, BenQ, Logitech, HyperX, I'm just kidding, Alienware is fantastic. We just got an Intel sponsorship, it's super cool. We also have like ZAM, that we're going to start doing a lot of guides on their sites pretty soon. So
cool.
You'll be able to at least see King Caffeine's new Joanna guy. That'd be something that we want to put out here pretty soon. The other sponsors like LOLWiz, they kind of pertain to other things, All Class. Obviously Cloud9, Jack is fantastic. We love Jack and all the supporting staff to kind of help us out in day-to-day activities. You can find all the players do stream. So you can King Caffeine just started streaming recently. Is twitch.tv/King Caffeine. But you can pretty much go to twitch.tv/Cloud9GG and all of our players will come up. You'll be able to see who's streaming, be able to hang out with them there, kind of hang out and chat. Those are all of our sponsors, I believe.
Yeah. And yeah, you guys are going to be playing in the June 13th North American Open?
Yeah, we have our ESL playoffs this coming week. It's the 10th to the 12th, and immediately after that we play in the BlizzCon qualifiers. So we're going to be playing in all three. The way they have it set up is kind of like you can play in everything, but the first place person from this current one coming up gets a spot at the at regionals, and then the next two teams will get the spot at regionals. We have that coming up. We will be playing at the WCA. We are first seed in WCA just because we did lose the Tempo Storm. So we'll be playing at PAX Prime over there, and I believe there is another event, an MSI event, PAX Prime, that we will be playing at as well. Also stuff that's kind of intermittently in the future. We don't know yet if we're going to be playing at them, but there's going to be some cool stuff that we're going to be able to do. Take a look. You can follow Cloud9.gg on Twitter and Facebook, and we kind of show everything off we can there. Thanks to Blizzard for really hosting us, because they were fantastic. Chris Kelly at Blizzard was fantastic to work with. Blizzard all around. They gave us a tour this week, which was really cool. I got to hold Doomhammer, which was like the cool, and the Arthasor, or the Frostmourne. Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Julian R. Collins, on Facebook at facebook.com/Julian Collins. That's pretty much all. I constantly tweet and try and hype my team up as much as possible.
All right, so follow all the Cloud9 social media, follow Julian, and keep up to date with everything that's going on with Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Julian.
Thank you very much.
And we'll talk to you next time. Right. See ya.